Hi, welcome to Inner Jyotish. In my latest video, I was introducing the Kshudhita Avastha, a state of starvation or lack that Mercury can cause to Jupiter when it's together with Jupiter in the same sign, when Mercury aspects Jupiter, or when Jupiter is in the sign of Mercury. So that's either Gemini or Virgo. With this video, I want to continue exploring this Kshudhita Avastha and specifically another common pattern that I have observed while working with people and in general a pattern that this Avastha describes. So that another common pattern I have observed when Mercury starves Jupiter is that people tend to overthink and then worry about their finances. And typically, when Mercury is causing this Kshudhita Avastha, there's a sense of lack or unfulfilled desires regarding one's wealth. Now, why is that the case? Let's unpack it bit by bit. Okay, so we have to start with that Jupiter is the predominant indicator of wealth in the birth chart. When we assess Jupiter, we can learn about how wealth will unfold in one's life and what type of relationship one will have with this topic. And most of the systems or techniques, they evaluate the physical manifestation of wealth in one's life, whereas the Lajitadi Avastas, and Kshudhita Avastha belongs to the system, specifically reveals the psychological and emotional relationship or experience one has with the topic of wealth. For instance, all of the systems and techniques that evaluate the physical manifestation of Jupiter might assess that one will have quite a lot of wealth. But then let's say that same Jupiter is experiencing difficult avastas like the Kshudhita Avastha with Mercury. And then that would reveal that although the person has a significant amount of wealth, emotionally and psychologically, they are not feeling nourished by it. There's a sense of lack. So when Mercury starves Jupiter, often the thinking mind dwells too much on the topic of money and it thinks about how things could be better, in that way preventing one to enjoy what they have and feel content. Now, to explain this in more detail, I would like to introduce the gunas. So there are 3 gunas, but in this video I will talk only about the 2 of them, about sattva guna and rajas guna. Guna from Sanskrit translates into a quality of action or the motivation behind one's actions, or even the quality of the state of being. And sattva guna describes a quality of action which is based on harmony, balance, pureness, and clarity. If you have ever experienced a moment when you were sitting, laying, walking, whatever, but in that moment you felt how everything is beautifully and divinely perfect. You didn't worry about anything, you didn't see any problems, you just recognize that everything is balanced and divinely perfect. Things are happening the way they're supposed to happen. If you know that feeling, if you have experienced anything similar, then you know what sattva guna is. And now when you know what sattva guna is, it should make perfect sense that Jupiter carries this sattva guna. It has this energy, it's fueled by this energy. As Jupiter is the symbol of inner contentment, fulfillment, happiness, and greater wisdom. In contrast, the Rajas guna describes a quality of action which is fueled by intense passion. It's a highly stimulated energy, one that desires things. So, although Rajas guna can be helpful in certain situations, like trying to accomplish something big and something that requires to fuel yourself with that energizing guna, when it comes down to calming down, relaxing, enjoying, seeing life as perfectly as it is, and feeling content, that's when this Rajas guna can prevent that, can make it hard to have that experience. And here I think it's interesting to share something else about Mercury. So in Vedic astrology, it is said that every planet has a certain site. Mercury looks sideways, like this. And I think this aligns well with the Rajas guna, as the sideways looking indicates a restless energy, an energy that is always looking for something better, for something else, for something new. So again, this shows how Mercury has that nature to keep on looking for what's next, for something new, and in that way can block the passageway of Jupiter to help us also experience contentment, calmness, peace, and fulfillment. So having all of this in mind, when Mercury starves Jupiter through the Rajas guna, the thinking mind, our intellect, prevents us from feeling that what we have, wealth-wise, financially, is enough. Because there's always this, let's look for something else, for something better, or thinking keeps on happening, and then the more we think, the more we tend to worry. And here's a typical example for you. Let's say someone earns 2,000 euros per month. In my country, that's a pretty good income. I understand that it might differ from country to country, so just adjust that salary based on your culture. Have in mind something that is a pretty decent salary. So someone earns 2,000 euros per month. If Jupiter was not afflicted by Mercury, the person would be able to feel satisfied, fulfilled, happy, and content with what life gives them. But when Mercury aspects or in some way starves Jupiter, then what happens is that the person gets the salary, and then soon after they start to think, but my friend earns 3,000 euros per month. Maybe I should look for another job. It would be so nice to get also 3,000 euros, or at least 500 euros more than I'm getting now. Maybe then I would feel better. And then just like that, the mind can go on and on, generating all of these different thoughts of how things could be better. And through that, it overshadows that internal Jupiter that can help us be grateful and happy with what we have, right? Okay, so what can we do about this? Because something needs to be done. In my latest video where I was introducing this Avastha, I shared that practicing some sort of meditation is essential with this Mercury-Jupiter Kshudhita Avastha, because meditation helps to calm down that thinking mind, and through meditation you're practicing how to shut it down when you don't need it. And at the same time, meditation helps to connect with that inner Jupiter, with that inner happiness, contentment, presence, that ability to perceive the bigger picture and recognize that life is perfect, that sattva guna. And in this video, I want to remind this again. I want to repeat it, that practicing some sort of meditation is key with this Kshudhita Avastha. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about money or in general the internal state. Meditation is what can truly help, if you're doing this every single day, to soften the effect of this avastha and retrain that thinking mind, and help you reconnect with internal happiness that is always dwelling right here. It's not out there in a bigger salary or more wealth or something else. It's not there. It's right here. When the mind quiets, when it's calm, when you're focusing on this region and on your breath, right there, you find happiness that is always there. Now, if you would like to receive some additional advices or recommendations on what you could do to work with this Mercury-Jupiter Kshudhita Avastha, and in particular when it comes down to, overthinking about money, worrying about it, not feeling fulfilled, then comment down below the word Jupiter. And then I will share back to you in the comments some tips, some things you could do additional to the meditation to work with this Kshudhita Avastha. If you think that this video is valuable, give it a like, share it with your friends, especially if you have friends who worry about finances as well. And I hope to see you in my next video.